Welcome to Two Balls and a Mic. I forgot what episode we're on because it's like Groundhog Day. Every day's the same. But
Episode
welcome.
15, boy.
Episode 15. Awesome. So it's been, we're getting closer, man. We're getting closer. And today we're actually going to go ahead and start with some of the Last Dance. Episode 7 and 8 came out. It was probably one of the best episodes. And we're going to go ahead and dive into that in the beginning of the day. We're also going to go ahead and talk about some soccer news around the world starting, maybe some transfers coming up, and some awards given, not given, restartings and not restartings. And what else are we going to talk about today, Chiva?
There's plenty of soccer to talk about, and also some interesting NFL contracts being signed already.
Absolutely. And then also UFC happened over the weekend. Hopefully that can get us closer to some sort of real actual sports real soon. Week 15 and most of our life has been without sports. I think we've learned how to cope with that now, but I think there's light at the end of the tunnel right now. I don't know how you feel at this point.
I feel conflicted, because you want everyone to be safe, and you don't want anyone to get sick. At the same time, you want these athletes to get out there and get exposed to the virus, possibly for our own selfish reasons, because we want to watch sports.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks that I want to be this selfish,
Yeah, and that's a controversy right now because, do you start it now? Do you just, is it too early? When is it too early? And sometimes, there's real life consequences happening in the world because there's no sports. Obviously, it's one of the least important things in a time like this, but it's a real question. Like, when is it okay to start? And baseball has started over in Asia and Japan and China, and they've said, if there's even one player that tests positive for COVID, they'll just shut down the league. Whereas here in the States, the baseball league hasn't started yet. They've canceled spring training, which is for the preseason. And if there's still pretty much virtually no sports, but we have dates coming out. But again,
I think the problem in the U.S. especially is the politics is ruining the chances of sports coming back.
Yeah.
A lot of states are reopening really early, and I don't know if you watch CNN or the news or Fox, whatever you watch, but they're all reporting coronavirus cases spiking up again because of all this reopening too early. So it kind of sucks that this politics size is messing with our sports,
Yeah. And again, we talk about this because, this is a sports podcast, and as a sports podcast, it's the centerpiece of a sports podcast is sports. So obviously there's more important things happening around the world. And hopefully we can see the end sooner rather than later. But again, still in the meantime, the thing that we've been just eyeing the most and looking forward to the most here in the States, at least, is that Last Dance documentary.
Every Sunday, man.
Every Sunday, it's like it's our telenovela, bro.
Next Sunday it'll all be over.
Exactly. That's why I saw it's the last 2 episodes next Sunday, and I was like, wow, that went by pretty fast.
Yeah.
And episode 7, man, I think that's one of my favorite episodes. I don't know how this is gonna come across, man. But I saw myself in Jordan so much. It sounds weird to say that, but I just know where he's coming from. Episode 7 started. They were talking about my favorite part, which I guess it was very underlooked on Twitter. Our president walked out of a news conference outside for whatever reason, for politics reasons, whatever. And I clipped that and I quoted it and said, "Thanks, Craig. Way to go, Craig." Because that was the opening of episode 7 where Jerry Krause was asked, "Hey, is there any backstabbing going on?" He's just like, "Nah, fuck this," and just walked out. But yeah, episode 7 was really emotional. It went down when Michael Jordan's dad got murdered and how that went down. That whole story in itself is fascinating. If you ever have time, everybody has time right now. Take a deep dive and see exactly how all that went down. It's just some shady characters and it's just unclear exactly what happened. Do you believe Jordan when he retired? For the reasons said he retired.
I do. I mean, I do. I feel like he did need some time off from that, and I mean, he did say he always started with baseball. So his dad loved baseball, and honestly, I mean, they said it. If he would have stayed longer, he probably would have made the MLB.
Yeah,
Uh, but then the whole strike happened, and then he just kind of basketball is where it's at for him.
yeah,
But yeah, I don't think all those rumors where he was suspended or all this. I don't think all that is true.
yeah. No, again, I also don't think that was true, and that cemented it for me. The fact that they were talking, well, he was saying like, it was his first sport, and his dad loved him playing baseball, and he did everything you can in the NBA, and his dad saw everything, and so I think it was a good time and a good reason for retiring early. And then just imagine how much of a freakish athlete you have to be for you to I'm gonna just pick up a hobby, because I think that's what it was, a hobby for Jordan. It's and you put your all in a hobby. This is our hobby, but we're putting all into it. This whole podcast, it's our hobby, but we're putting all into it. And so it was interesting seeing him go play baseball, and he wasn't bad. He like I said, he could have made it to the majors, but who knows? But when I do say that I see myself in Jordan, is because you see the competition, like the fire in his eyes, and I relate a lot to that, where sometimes you just need to find, just like, give me a reason to kick your ass, give me a reason just to go after you. Otherwise, I'm just bored.
Wow. Okay.
Let me see if I can pull up the clip of him even talking about that.
You guys seeing how competitive Tony is?
Oh, bro, you've seen me play. If you ever see me on the field, I'm a completely different person. I'm the nicest guy. I will talk to you.
Not even on the field, anywhere, man.
Anywhere where it's competitive and I want to compete. And for any type of trivia, for any type of I don't know, stupid little competition. Like, if I'm into it and I have a chance to win, even if I don't, I'm just gonna play spoiler, and I'll make sure I play the best spoiler. But even then, that's competing.
Man, I've seen it firsthand. I do believe you. I do think you have that competitive edge in you, which is what drove Jordan to being who he was.
Because he was a winner. Like, and I know what winning is. When I was a kid, I used to be on the best teams as a soccer player, as a goalkeeper, and so I'm used to winning, and I losing and being on the bench was just so foreign to me. But
I feel like Jordan would hate me, because I'm really more go with the flow. I'm like, all right, we're here to have fun. Shit, I want to win, but it's not that serious at the end of the day. Whatever it is.
Oh, bro, you saying this is just pissing me off. Like, I'm just imagining, like, because I could see this. Like,
that's the type of person I am, though. That's really the type of person I am. Like, even for this podcast, you see me kind of slack a little bit, where I'm like, yeah, we're doing good right now. We're doing good. No. And you're like, no, we gotta try. We gotta get this. We gotta go that. We gotta do that. But that's just the type of person I am. I'm a pretty lazy person when it comes to doing stuff.
Oh, jeez.
But then the day, I am going to try.
Yeah, and so you get it together. At the end of the day, it's just frustrating trying to get you there sometimes. But
that's why I said. That's why I said you kind of hate me for that. At the end of the day, I feel like if Jordan met me, he was the president in my life, he would fucking hate me.
Oh, bro, I would love to. And that's the thing. Like, it's not even competing; it's winning. It's wanting to. Like, if you don't want it, why even try? Yep. Okay. So let's see if we can hear Jordan say something about that winning aspect.
Wow, we got Jordan on the show. Oh my god.
On the phone, we have Michael Jordan reading the script of episode 7, Last Dance, in the last couple seconds of the episode.
Hi, Jordan.
I don't have to do this. I'm only doing it because it is who I am. That's how I played the game. That was my mentality. If you don't want to play that way, don't play that way. Break.
He needed a goddamn break after that, man. Like, I don't know, dude. That just just speaks to me on a different level where si no estás aquí para hacerlo bien, ni pa qué vergas estás aquí, güey. Like, if you're not going to do it right, why even bother doing it? Like, it needs to be well done. And you just, if you're going to be there, this is why Mesut also bothers me so much. Mesut also, I cannot stand him because he doesn't want it. He just happens to be good at soccer. If you just happen to be good at something, great. Be in the back, be in this. But then when it comes to actually talking and backing stuff up, I don't even want to hear a peep from you. Ozil is a great guy. He donates to hospitals, children, everything. But if you are going to be my teammate, I need you. And Jordan's teammate, I need you to be all in. I need you to want it. Because if you're just there, it's just okay. Oh, bro, that pisses me off. And you saw Jordan. You saw Jordan. You saw how much he cares.
I love this.
He cares so much. He started crying. The only time you see Jordan crying in this documentary is when he either he loses a relative, he's talking about something difficult, or when he's talking how much he wants to win. And that Jordan is the Jordan that I want to be. That Jordan is what, oh my God. If you're not with it, man, just don't even try. Just go somewhere else. And I'm going to prove to you. And full disclosure, this is how I see it for podcasts that we've met along the way, friends that we've made along the way. Great, fantastic. But at the end of the day, we're all trying to go to the same thing, do the same thing. I'm going to go ahead and construct something in my mind to make sure I can take you down, take you over. It's all fun and games at the end of the day. I love all the people that I've met along the way, all the friends, but it's a competition at the end of the day.
All right. I'm gonna kill Tony's whole vibe right now with the Mexican saying, "Ah."
I watched that for his last Gabriel Iglesias' last
yeah.
episode with my mom.
No, I feel you. I feel you. Like I have other friends that are really competitive as well, and they always want to try hard. Again, for me, at the end of the day, is I do want to get there. But the thing is, I won't be the leader unless I have to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
I'm not a natural born leader. If you need me to step into that role, I will step into that role. If not, I'm just gonna go with the flow. I'm gonna go with it. You know, I like having fun. I like enjoying the ride. But like, I won't put my all into it unless I'm like super passionate about it. Well, kind of like this podcast. Like I've gone above and beyond with this podcast. Believe it or not. But like I've tried with this stuff, like with other stuff that I've done and that I'm not that passionate about, like I don't do that stuff anymore.
No wonder the gym didn't work out for either of us.
There you go. That's a good example right there.
It will someday. It will soon. I'm actually thinking about the future for this. Like I'm gonna leverage my weight. Listen to this. I'm going to leverage my position as a fat guy and use my position as a fat guy in order to gain opportunities for the podcast. And we'll talk about that later.
I think that's interesting. Yeah. We'll talk about it.
Definitely.
But I mean, this both episodes were really interesting at the end of the day, especially when he came back from baseball, you know, that famous saying, "I'm back." Back. How badass is that, dude? Like he didn't have to say. He just said, "I'm back." Boom! Everything in Chicago blew up. Shirts, hats, buildings, everything was saying just those two words. And he did come back. He had a great season. He just wasn't there physically.
He wasn't there physically, but and he built himself back.
Yeah, exactly. Like that trainer told him, like normally he takes a break after playoffs. And I asked him, when am I going to see you again? He said, tomorrow.
Isn't it crazy? Like, I think about this in all type of sports, and I can't help but bring it back to soccer. And I've talked with so many people in any sport, and we've asked them, like, hey, what's your least favorite drill? What's your least favorite thing? If it's hard to imagine, like, in a game like soccer where all you do is running. If you ask a soccer player, what's your least favorite part of training? They'll say running. But if you put something at the end of it, if you put a ball at the end of this running, you're never going to tire us out. You're never going to tire players out. So that's what you need, that focal point, and that's what Jordan needed. He needed that one thing, like, all right, well, I guess I just got to do this now. And just that tenacity, just go after it and just switch it on. And I think that's what separates Jordan from anybody else. He just switched it on. He willed it to existence. If he thought somebody was talking shit to him, like or upstaging him, like they were talking about that kid who came up and pretty much embarrassed them in Chicago. The next game, he went over into his home arena and just destroyed him. And he made up a story. He constructed this story in his mind that, I need to do this. Should be, and none of that happened. And
he shot the same amount of points in the half. I forgot the guy's name that came in, but scored like 34 points on Jordan, and Jordan couldn't do shit, and they lost the game. Next day, they go over to the stadium, and like he said, I'm gonna score the same amount of points he scored on me in a half. Like, that's crazy, man.
Exactly, and again, it's just solidifying. It'll be interesting in a couple of years just to see, what I guess LeBron James's Last Dance documentary is going to be, because you have to imagine there's been people like following LeBron since he was, when just barely came into the league or on his last year. They're going to do something like that. And just to compare, like, what we say then, like we see Jordan now, I'm like, oh wow, Jordan's everything. But then 20 years down the line, when we see LeBron's version of this, are we going to be like, well, he was actually pretty, he was pretty good. He wasn't that bad.
No, I mean, LeBron is definitely up there. Like, there's no questioning that. I did hear like they did follow Kobe around his last 2 years of the season.
Yeah.
There were cameras everywhere the whole time, so they're saying there might be a documentary about his last 2 years.
Yeah.
But this thing with Michael Jordan is unique, because Michael Jordan is he's just an icon himself,
he called himself an icon.
He is what made basketball. Yeah. My biggest take from this the last 2 episodes that we watched was when he's talking about the other team talking shit, like when they were up.
Oh, yeah.
And he goes, let's see if they talk shit when it's even.
Hell yeah.
Or even when they're losing. That's when you can talk shit, not when you're up by 5 or 6.
Exactly.
To me, I was like, dude, that's a good point right there.
And that again,
I myself talk a lot of smack.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
No matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll talk about it before. Even if I'm losing, I'll talk smack.
Hell yeah! Before, during, after a loss, like if you're getting embarrassed, I don't care. I'm still gonna go after you if I get nutmegged.
And even if you beat me, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, you won, yeah, whatever, and I'm still gonna find a way to talk smack.
Exactly.
That's just the way. That's just the way I am, and it's if you know me, I talk a lot of smack. I like making fun. I like making jokes. I like having fun like that, especially in sports, man.
Exactly.
Like, even when I would play soccer, like at Water Tower indoor, I would just honestly like just to the players, like, hey, what's up, man? Are you that fast? I'm not that fast, Just making little stuff like that, just making them laugh, getting in their head. It's something fun for me when it comes to sports.
Definitely. And I think these were the 2 best couple shows from The Last Dance, the best 2 put together. You did see after he came back and won that first championship after his dad passed away, and just the emotion on the floor, and just wanting it that much, and just being able to just come back and take what's yours. And it must have been tough for that for Jordan just to even play there. They were going back and forth, and I'm enjoying how many memes are coming out of The Last Dance. So when they show him Gary Payton talking about Jordan and how he would have handled him had they put him on him earlier, and then he just laughs it off and like, oh, I had no problem with the glove. So many of those little like digs at people, and to this day he just holds so many grudges, and he holds them, and he's not gonna let them go. And is Jordan a terrible person? Sure. Is he an asshole?
Of course.
But is he a winner? Yeah, and he's just the best winner of all time. He's just the
Man.
best winner, sore winner, good winner, bad. He's just overall the best winner. And I just find it interesting that it was on Mother's Day when these episodes came out, and we were just talking and thinking about so much about his dad, and it felt like a dad episode. But I don't know if you've ever heard, and him talking about his dad kind of got to me, his best friend, and his person is always there type of thing. Have you ever heard Tom Brady talking about his dad?
I have not.
And again, it's one of those things where, these are the two greatest of all time, respectively, talking, and little respect towards their dads.
Who's my hero? It's a great question. Well, I think my dad is my hero because he's someone that I look up to every day, and my dad. I'd say my dad
and then just hear that voice crackle, and just my dad, and shout out to all those dads who have always, anybody who's listening to a sports podcast and listening to us probably had a mom or a dad or a tío or tía, abuela who took them to practice every day and helped them out, and just look back and be thankful for that little heartwarming episode today, I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, definitely shout out to all those parents that take the initiative, to be there for their kids, especially when you're in sports. Like my dad, he was always there for me when it came to all my games and all that. And he told me the reason I do that for all of you is because his dad, he never showed up to his games.
Yeah.
Because he would always work, or he would just rather be home. So he never saw him play football. He never saw him play soccer. So he kind of made a decision, like, when I have kids, I'm gonna be there for all their sports games. Like he didn't miss one water polo game for my sister. He never missed a soccer game. So I mean, yeah, shout out to those parents.
Definitely, moms and dads. Happy Mother's Day, Feliz Dia de las Madres. A little late, but it got there. But yeah, 2 more episodes to go. There's a lot of talk about if because this is so, there's no sports and this is the only thing that we have looking forward to, that The Last Dance itself isn't that good. It's just the only thing.
Are you kidding me?
No, yeah, a lot of people have been saying that, and
the fact that you have, I didn't know this about Jordan. The fact that he was recording from 6 a.m. to a certain time, and then he's working out, and then he's balling out with a bunch of stars for 3 hours after, and then still goes and works out again. Reggie Miller said that this guy is not human.
Yeah, maldito genio too. Wow.
You have Reggie Miller saying that about you, he's I don't know how the fuck he's doing this, you know. And then at the same time, he's taking mental notes about all these players are working on, getting to know their game while he's acting, working out, getting better, and for his next comeback season.
Exactly.
That next season was that was pretty much the off season when he lost against Orlando.
Yeah.
So in his mind, he's like, I'm coming for all these motherfuckers.
And again, he did.
He fucking did.
He
man.
really did. And I'm holding off from watching Space Jam again. I haven't seen it since The Last Dance came out, just because I wanna just see everything that went on behind the scenes, and then just see oh wow, he was just kicking the league's ass right around when Bill Murray came in. All right, but. No, it's. I think it's great. I don't know. There's people that say I can see some of the edits. It's a little hard to follow sometimes, the timelines, but I don't mind it.
Is it well put together? You could argue that.
Yeah.
Because it did confuse me at first. Remember, I told you that did confuse me where it goes back and forth from 1992 to 1998, and this and that. That could be confusing. That's why you have to be paying attention.
Exactly.
If you're just gonna be on your phone while watching it, you're gonna be oh, what the hell's going on?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta be paying attention to it first of all. So if you're talking shit about the show, you're probably on your phone while you're watching the show.
Exactly. And so, 2 more episodes. Next Sunday, last 2 episodes. Obviously, we already know how the movie ends, but it's still fun to be along for the ride, and it's held us over. This whole quarantine time without sports has given us something to talk about for the past 4 or 5 weeks, and it's crazy. Michael Jordan, man, just the greatest winner of all time, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt. And honestly, it's just you can't even compare anyone to him anymore.
Definitely.
For the documentary, at least.
So if you want to go ahead and with that transition over into sports, I'm going to go ahead and just hit whatever button because I don't know which one it is. Hey, I got it right. All right.
Soccer talk, man.
We really need to switch that.
There's been a lot of transfer rumors, a lot of news, a lot of possible dates of leagues coming back. What I want to acknowledge first is I saw pictures of Son finishing his military training. I'm not sure if he has to finish the year there or if he's after training he can go back to London. But yeah, it was pretty cool seeing those pictures, like just him in the military uniform. But yeah, I mean, there's possible dates. Supposedly, the earliest one that can come back the earliest is Bundesliga, and we talked about it before. We mentioned it. They've been already in training. They want to come back quick. There you go. The UC Son, fist up, military, the Korean Ronaldo, man. But yeah, Bundesliga may start as late as in this month in May.
Yeah.
Will it happen? I'm not quite sure how this whole situation is in Germany with coronavirus. Again, I hate that I want to be this selfish and put these players at risk. I don't know if you saw Danny Rose, what he said about it.
Yeah, so everybody, it's weird because over in Europe, like, here we have different states and every state's doing things differently. Same thing over there. Like, they're different countries, but they're smaller countries, so everybody's in a different position. Everybody has their own set of rules and laws, and you saw that with how Ajax and PSG were just handled differently, and how that's all going down, and they're all different positions. But again, if it's possible, if it were possible to reopen everything without fans, obviously, what's going to happen is everything's going to restart with no fans, just no fans, limited staff, and whoever's going to finish the leagues, they're going to finish the leagues, and they'll have their winners. But what happens when you play one game and then one person's test positive, asymptomatic, and then there's 22 people on the field, 10 of those people now have it, who then go home, and that's what you're essentially what you're risking.
Yeah, it could be a disaster. And Danny Rose said it. Like, fuck this. Like, this is bullshit. Like, we're talking about our lives here. I mean, like, look at Dybala. He got the virus like 3 different times already.
Yeah.
So the government did give the Premier League like the green light to start as early as June 1st. They said the Premier League said that does to mean we're starting in June 1st. It's just the day that they're allowed to. La Liga is supposed to be coming back June 12th. And then for like the Mexican League, I know they want to start as early as July 2nd.
I think I'm sorry, but I'm going to pause you right there. And you don't know that I did this, and I'm sorry for not telling you. And it's good that we're in the middle of soccer talk because we do have some breaking news.
Okay.
It seems like we are going to begin talks, and coming in the next couple of weeks, we might have a special guest to discuss soccer.
Okay.
Do you know who I may be referring to?
I do not.
We have Mr. Barabon.
Really?
I sent the message. We are in talks.
Did he respond?
Yes.
No, wait, did you do it on the Instagram? Our Instagram or
we did it. I did it on our Instagram. DMs with John Bartwan in Espanol. Hopefully
Bro,
we can
I'm
work
checking
some.
that out right now. No way.
Hopefully we can start checking some stuff in. That's a little surprise just for you, Chiva.
Wow, man.
I'm good with my words. We'll definitely get to responding to him after the podcast. But hopefully, John Barbon, excuse me, could join us.
Yeah, he did respond like
pretty
20
soon.
minutes ago.
Yes, he did. Yeah, the fuck! I just told you he did.
So those of you who don't know who Barbon is, he's an Instagram like Mexican soccer icon, pretty much. Like I don't think he ever played like professional soccer or anything, but
Mhm.
he is well connected with the media.
Mhm.
Like he knows all the transfer rumors. All the teams talk to him, players talk to him. He's just someone that's well connected in Mexican soccer. And
Yeah.
I've been following him on Instagram for like years already. That's how I get all my soccer transfer news. Like if he makes it official, then I know it's gonna be official. And I told Tony, hey, it'd be pretty cool if we get this guy like on the show. So Tony worked his like magic with his words. That's that's what I told
español,
people.
güey.
That's what I've told people. Like, you know what? Like, Tony has his way with words. And honestly, like,
Keep going.
It-
Keep going.
like no, it's for real, dude. Like I wouldn't be able to hit up the SD Loyal and be like, hey, what's up? Like, for a podcast, and we get press passes or whatever, however you say it. I read these emails that he sent, so I'm like, damn, I need to start reading more because I don't know half the fucking words he's saying.
Fun fact: I hate reading. But yeah, so hopefully that'll come in.
But
Hopefully,
it's pretty cool if we get Joe Barbon in, man. That'd be dope.
definitely. Hopefully we didn't jinx it, and we'll get back to him as soon as we can. Maybe have him on the podcast, independent interview coming up pretty
Or maybe
soon.
even joining his live or something. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool.
Okay, relax. I mean, why not shout him out? He has Bonnie Ruiz coming up, and then he has Miguel Herrera. So this is
Yeah,
the caliber of
Yeah, no, I know.
personality that we're handling here. John Barbon, Instagram, John.Barbon, Jon. Follow him. Hopefully we can get something done. Coming back to actual
Yeah.
news instead of just
Yeah,
hopefully
like,
things to work
the
out.
The Liga MX is still doing their E-League,
Malditos copiones, güey.
which honestly like is not getting as many ratings as they expected. Because they're having
They
random
should have asked
games.
us. We would have told them.
Straight up, man. But I mean that's still going on. I don't know if that'll stop. If anything, what I wanted to ask is, or your opinion, and like, do you think there's a chance? Like, I know, say like Bundesliga comes back and Premier League comes back, but not La Liga, not like any other leagues, and then Champions League decides, like, all right, we're gonna have these matches ready. Do you think, like, if the league is not there, like say Real Madrid is still in the Champions League, if the league is not there, could they still play the Champions League games if the Champions League decides to come back?
You're talking about this season?
Yeah,
I think so, just because the tournament was in a place where, it's not like the beginning stages where you just don't know who's going to make it to the next rounds. We're a couple rounds deep. Who's in this next round, so it's not like you have to get 32 teams ready. It's only
no, but that's not my point though. My point is, say like, for example, Real Madrid, say La Liga doesn't come back for whatever reason.
yeah.
The teams that the country says that they can't practice because of the virus.
Yeah.
Like, how would that work out? Like Madrid not being able to practice, but then you have Bayern Munich over here already practicing, running the league, and then
That's an interesting
imagine they face it.
That's an interesting point. I would assume that in that it's like different responsibilities. If you have a team, it's three different things you respond to. So if you get a red card in the Champions League, it doesn't mean you have. And I know doesn't make sense right now, but if you get a red card in the Champions League, it doesn't affect you in the league,
Your league.
because it's a whole different thing. It's a whole different set of people who judge and preside over that. So UEFA would, pretty much tell the participants, hey, we're going to start because we're starting.
Mm-hmm.
And so that would pump Real Madrid to be like, well, there's no league. but we have a responsibility to this other tournament. We're gonna have to train regardless. But I do see
Where
your
were they
point, and
trained, though?
I
That's the
do
thing.
think I do see it as an advantage where Bayern Munich has been training, small practices, small trainings, but they have been practicing. They're more, I would say, match fit than a Madrid or somebody who hasn't touched or played together, practiced together in a while. So it'd be interesting to see exactly how they handle that, because I think that's a big advantage or disadvantage for either any team that hasn't been practicing this whole time, and I think that's a good point.
I mean,
And,
yeah, the right thing to do for UEFA is to not start it.
yeah,
If all the leagues choose not to start, because I mean that'd be the fair thing to do.
so then what happens when it's only one? So everybody's on board except for one league, and you have one team. I don't know. Let's see. They have Liverpool, Chelsea,
Yeah, exactly.
and Man U. So that's three. I can't think of maybe Germany has a couple in there, but yeah, like one country is just like, no, we're not. We're sorry.
Like in Man U PSG, they technically won their title already,
Yeah.
so the league is over,
Mm-hmm.
but they're still in Champions League. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They're still.
We're heading into fuzzy territory where you're starting to try to restart leagues, and it's like a dead battery. Just you're gonna have to let it charge a little bit. It's gonna have to run a little bit. If you add oil to a motor, you can't just start driving. You have to let it run for a little bit. So
I mean, the worst scenario is you just say, you know what, it's canceled.
yeah,
No winner this year.
but
You lose money. You lose money. It sucks, but it's the safest thing for everyone. That's the thing.
And hopefully when we come out of this, obviously right now world economies are in the shitter. But once things reopen, it's going to be a gradual reopening. It's not like people are going to flock over to buy $300 tickets or €300 tickets for stuff because they haven't been working for the past 4 or 5 months.
Talking about tickets, I've been looking at, because NFL's expected to start right on schedule and all this. I was looking at the Rams because I got an email from the Rams. They have a new stadium. I was looking at their ticket prices. Dude, I fucking hate
ridiculous.
the Rams, dude.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's not just the Rams, but yeah.
Nosebleeders.
How much?
Literally, the cheapest ones were $600.
What? For what game?
$600 for the season opener.
Wow, that's
$600.
Can you
man.
imagine? So that's
Like
$600.
at the Coliseum, when I went for the home opener last season, I literally spent like $200 a ticket, but I was super close to the field.
They're literally trying to make up the money in the opening game. So it's
Like, who has
$100.
that money right now? Nobody, dude. Like a lot of people are on unemployment, which, by the way, is giving people a lot of money.
You're just not a diehard fan.
That'll
That'll be some
I
people
don't
say.
give a fuck if you don't call me that. Don't. I won't be a diehard fan. I'm not spending $600 for nosebleeders. Are you kidding me?
I mean,
I don't
real
care. I'll do
fans,
whatever you
real
want.
fans would.
Shit, fuck it. I don't give a fuck, man. Straight up.
Papi
I'm
Trump,
not paying $600 for
Papi
that.
Trump gave you 2 Rams nosebleed tickets. If you really think about it.
No, I did not get those.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
dependent,
I'm
yes.
sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, but no, yeah, it's
insane.
and it'll be interesting too because
Imagine how much the tickets for Tampa Bay are going to go up because of Tom Brady.
Exactly, and then imagine concessions. Like you can't go out and charge $10 for a goddamn pretzel. Did you know? I went in 2010. I went to Yankee Stadium. I went to New York, right? And I went again to the last game of a regular season that they didn't make playoffs for, and I went up and I bought hot chocolate. I bought 2 hot chocolates, one for me and one for another person in the class, and they were in souvenir Yankee Stadium cups. How much do you think for hot chocolate? And I'm not talking hot like. I'm talking hot water, 99-cent store packet. Here you go. How much do you think it was for 2 hot chocolates about that tall?
I'm gonna say like $25.
All right. Well, I mean, yeah. So yeah, pretty much $24. $24 for 2 Malitos hot chocolates Yeah,
Right on the money, man.
yeah. So I like what Atlanta does.
I mean, you're talking New York too, so it's like I assume.
Yeah, and I like what Atlanta does. They do the accessible beverages. They do $2 hot dogs, and I don't know why every NFL, every NFL stadium doesn't do that. Just an accessible menu. You don't have to buy $25 for just a drink and some Cracker Jacks. It's insane.
Yeah, man, no, that's crazy. But I mean, hopefully, we don't have to worry about that because we're not going to be able to see the live sports anyways.
Well, hopefully we can because we're media and
hopefully we can. Yeah, exactly.
hopefully we can mosey in and get some and hopefully that's the plan. Look, when everything goes back to normal, we're gonna love it. But in the meantime, if we're allowed to be on the sidelines and as media and there's no fans allowed, the plan is to have the GoPro right behind goal or somewhere in the stadium or around wherever we are, and just react, live stream and react because USD's Wi-Fi is fast, so I'm pretty sure we can live stream, and then it'll be recording whatever is happening on the field, just because we're fans too, and we'll see how that goes. But for now,
Speaking of live streaming,
no.
Mr. Tony here.
Relax. All right, relax. Here, you're getting muted, bro. No. But anyway, again, once that happens, hopefully this whole thing will pay off if we're allowed to go to games as media.
Hopefully, man, because I do miss going to those loyal games.
Those two loyal games. SD loyal, man. Jeez.
Yeah, they were fun to watch. Or even just going to Barcata or the UPSL. The last scenario is starting June 1st as well. So hopefully they get to start so we can take a part of that.
Definitely.
And I don't know about the Nisa League for 1904 yet. I don't know.
Yeah, no, their league ended for the spring, and they're coming back for the fall. At least that's what's scheduled. But yeah, so something that did start and went ahead was the UFC. UFC 249 happened.
Yeah.
And I know you're not a big fight guy. You're not a big fight person. I don't know why. Why don't you like fights?
No, but I have seen some fights. I have seen some fights, and it was really weird without all the crowd noise.
Look, man,
because you could actually hear like the coaches,
Not even that. So Greg Hardy, former Dallas Cowboy, terrible human being, terrible person, was on the card. He was fighting, and he ended up winning his match by decision. And I guess he can hear Daniel Cormier, who was a champion, in the side because he's on the commentary table. But because he was commentating like, Greg Hardy should be doing this and this and this, and he heard him say that, and he actually did it. And I guess he was like, oh, thank God there wasn't a crowd. Greg Hardy said, thank God there wasn't a crowd because I heard DC over there just telling me what to do and help me out. But I think it was here. You're gonna like this. Hot take. UFC is much better and funner to watch than WWE without a crowd.
I can see that.
And yeah, I think it's because the tension of not knowing, again, I watch my man soap opera and I have that suspense of disbelief, but in UFC you just have no idea what's going to happen. When yeah, bro. Francis Ngannou, the guy you were talking about, the
22nd knockout, man.
See, vato.
This guy just went swinging. He just had to connect one. He connected with his left, and you see the other big guy like, boom.
Yes.
Bam.
So he went against Jairzinho Rozenstruik, and Rozenstruik actually called Ngannou out after his last match. You know who Rozenstruik is? Remember that guy that you saw who got his lip partially taking off? Fabian fell.
Mm-hmm.
Rosenstrike was the guy who did that to him. After he did that to him, he's like, "You see what I did to this guy? I'm calling you out, Francis Ngannou." And then Francis Ngannou was like, "You don't want to."
He went Jordan mentality right there.
Not even Jordan mentality. It's like you don't want to do that, man. And he was like, "No, fuck you. I'm gonna kick your ass." But you really don't want. I'm telling you. All right, I guess. Sure, just getting ready and prepared, and the entrance, the walk to the ring, to the octagon, was longer than the actual fight. My favorite thing is during the replay, they were talking about, usually they talk about it like, oh, here's the final hit that finally did it in. No, they just said, and here's the whole fight.
Here's the fight.
And then they showed the replay. But no,
man.
I would not want to fight that man. I would not want to be caught just next to that man. What's something else that you watch? What other thing do you remember watching in that?
Just the main card. What was the name?
So it was Gaethje versus Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson, who is my favorite fighter, not just because Tony, but he got his ass handed to. And here's the thing, like, because
ass kicked, man.
You know why, right? It's a Tony Ferguson was preparing for a match with the champion, Khabib, who beat Conor, right? Khabib is a wrestler who wrestles against bears since he was a kid. So obviously you're preparing for a grappler. Tony Ferguson is more of a jiu-jitsu grappler type of guy who could take a fucking punch. But then Khabib is stuck in Russia, so he can't come over and fight, obviously. So they had an interim fighter, Justin Gaethje, who came in last second, and he's more of a pure striker, and that's what it ended up being.
Damn.
And so he came in, beat the shit out of Tony Ferguson, but didn't knock him out.
I was surprised because I do normally see in UFC that the grabbing, and then once they're on the floor, just keep fucking them up. This one surprised me because he looked a little more of a boxing match. Because there was a lot of punches being thrown, not a lot of like grabbing each other. It's just straight up like fist fight.
Yeah,
there's a couple kicks in there. And
that's the thing with UFC.
I like. It's kind of like a street fight, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. It's a lot like a street fight, and there's anything goes pretty much. I don't know if you've ever seen like UFC 1. It's insane. UFC 1 is like the most insane thing ever because you just have like a karate guy versus like a goddamn giant, and then the karate guy wins, and it's crazy. But no, it was a good event. There were 6 hours of UFC fights. Tomorrow there's another set of UFC fights, but I think the main fights happened this last week, the ones I wanted to watch anyways. But yeah, so I mean that brings it into a discussion of what the hell these guys, they did it in Florida. They had tests for everybody. I don't know if you saw that a fight got canceled because one of the fighters tested positive for it last minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it was D'Souza or Souza.
Well, it's a good thing that they canceled it. To play it safe, they probably should have canceled the whole event. But you lose money there. You already have people paying for the pay-per-view. So you gotta keep it going. But I mean, at least they did cancel that one fight, so that was good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And you saw different levels of social distancing. You saw different levels of care for it. Joe Rogan, who is a commentator, and he does the post-fight interviews in the octagon with the guy. No mask, no anything. The guy who beat the shit out of Tony Ferguson, his Gaethje, had just the blood on his hand and stuff and everything, the sweat and everything. And this Fuleva Lemata, he just kept, all right, good fight, man. See you later. Handshake. And then Gaethje was even like, oh, but the blood. He was like, I don't care. Give it here. And it's just just one of those things where. Where's the line drawn? And different lines for different people, different times, different places. And I'm glad I'm not the one that has to take that decision to do something or not to do something. But it's a step in the right direction. For sports-wise, it might be a step back.
again, it's
pandemic
the fact that
wise.
it's the fact that we want to be selfish, but
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be selfish. Because I know like people that gamble, they're the selfish ones. They're like, come on, we want sports already.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think people realize like how much gambling, how important gambling is in America, and for the economy itself. Just how much money gets gambled on certain things, on like the biggest things. The amount of money that gets gambled on Super Bowl on Sunday is insane.
Dude, there's bets for everything. It's gonna be a heads or tails. Who's gonna get the ball first? Are they gonna score a touchdown first or a field goal? Is it gonna be a pick?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I bet you there's even people betting on when this whole virus is gonna end.
Let's check that out right now.
I'm pretty sure. If there isn't, then I'll be
No,
surprised
there has to
because-
be,
Yeah.
and here here's what I typed into Google, and I'll show you. Vegas odds on when pandemic ends.
No,
First thing,
man.
ESPN sports betting numbers
Oh
show.
my God.
I'm telling you, and this was done April 15th. This was a month ago, bro. Like, there's people would bet on anything, and I mean, I'm not surprised,
That's
the least.
insane. That's insane.
but yeah, so it's part of it. It's legal now here in the States, so just gamble responsibly, I guess. And finally, just moving into the last portion of today, we have a little bit of NFL talk.
Yes, sir.
Will Matthew Stafford's
Man,
mathematics help him on the field? Absolutely.
Oh my goodness! You're not starting that again.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
If you
I
guys
won
saw
that
our last
debate.
video, there was no winning. Bro.
No, I won the
come on
debate
now.
because you saw my point of it. We ended up saying that does that help him in the least? Yes, it's on a spectrum, minute, but the answer is yes. So, moving on. We'll
If your name is just saying, if your name is Fabian, I don't like you very much.
across the board. You're making enemies with anybody named Fabian. Fantastic.
Fabian, and you commented on our YouTube channel. I'm not a big fan of it.
And they commentate. They're narrating.
And they commented.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I'm not a big fan of you.
to be fair,
He did not know what he was talking about. He misunderstood your argument as well.
to be fair, I have
But you know
contact
what?
information.
You know
We
what?
can make it
I'll
happen right now.
shut the fuck up and stick to soccer. You know, I'll shut the fuck up and stick to soccer.
I've heard other people
Motherfucker,
say.
Fabian.
I'll say.
I know
this.
where you live, Fabian.
I'll say this. Please stop making enemies with our fans. First of all, people who actually watch us. Second of all,
I don't care.
I can fetch them right now for you.
I don't care.
Well, I can put them on the line right now.
I already tried to talking to him.
I mean,
Won't work.
you didn't, but I mean,
It's all good, man.
I'm giving you
It's
this
all
opportunity.
good. I don't like talking to idiots. It's fine.
I'll give you this opportunity right
fine.
now. You're the one that's running away from it. Just saying. So
no, I already talked to him. You know, I already talked to him. He didn't say anything.
they don't know. They don't know, right, guys? I mean,
I'll tell you guys right now. I joined this man's Warzone lobby to talk to that Fabian guy. All I heard was silence. That's it. All I heard was silence.
there wasn't silence. There was stuff
That's
there.
all I heard.
So far he has the
You
upper
can back up your
hand.
buddy all you want. You can back up your buddy all you want.
Oh, I don't know this
went
guy.
in,
I have no
I was
idea
like,
who he
who the
is.
fuck is Fabian? That's all I heard. Boom.
Wait, so
That's
you were in a lobby with yourself? That's kind of how they sound like sometimes.
Go ahead, defend your buddies. I don't give a fuck.
I have no idea who these people
Fuck
are.
that
That's what
guy.
makes it funny.
Fuck that guy. Fabian, I'm looking at you. Fuck you, Fabian. You don't know what the fuck you were talking about either.
Yeah, you're the one that's running away from a confrontation right now. Anyway.
Put him on the line then. Put him on the fucking line.
All right. Anyway, while I work on that, I want to tell the people about NFL things, actual things that matter in the NFL.
Dude, those crazy teams are. I don't know what's up with this rookies, but they're getting some great contracts. Derek Brown, 23 guaranteed, 23 million guaranteed,
No más?
and then Tua go, however you pronounce his name, no mas.
Oh, I want to hear you. No. How do you pronounce his name? How do you pronounce his name?
May,
How do you pronounce Tua's name?
Uh, Tua Tagovailoa.
Close. Tua Tagovailoa. You missed a no.
Tagovailoa. He's getting 11.5 million at the end of this month. That is insane.
Oh, wow.
Hello, may I please speak with
What's up?
the great Fabian?
That's where you get that. Oh, wild.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we are live here
Wait.
on Two Balls and a Mic. I don't know if you can hear Chiva.
Yeah.
Hello.
Okay, now I can hear you.
Can you hear Chiva?
Yo.
All right.
I hear him.
All right. So go at it, guys. I mean,
You're cutting out again, dude.
I say Matthew Stafford, being good at math helps on the field. Chiva doesn't.
Okay, so this is how it is. Does doing equations in the field help him? Like the equations? No. But the ability that he has of doing quick math, the quick thinking, the quick synapses of his brain, like he can see things faster than any other average football player can. It comes to studying, he can study better because he's already better at it. Like his brain functions better than most of us.
Mm-hmm.
That makes him a better football player because he can read defenses. He can make quick second decisions to whether throw the ball or keep it or run. He has more mental ability than the average player.
Mm-hmm.
That's when it becomes helpful. Not the adding and subtracting and multiplying itself per se, but the ability that he can do that. The fact that he can do that is helpful in the field, helpful studying, helpful
So why
just being a
why
smarter
is he not
person.
the best quarterback in the league?
A football team is made of 52 players, bro, not just one player. You can have the greatest quarterback in the shittiest team, and he's never going to win. And we've seen it time and time and time, and we're probably going to see it with Tom Brady this season.
So are you saying he could be the greatest quarterback if he was placed on the right team?
Not necessarily. It also has to do with his physical ability, but
Oh, okay.
if the mental acumen is there,
Talent plays a role. Talent plays a role.
What?
He's saying that talent plays a role.
So talent plays a role. The amount of
Yeah,
time,
so
the amount of time you watch film.
talent, mental acumen, your decision making also has got to be with your patience. A lot of things play a role, but does that make him a better player? Yeah, it does.
Do you agree with that, Chiva? That it makes him a better player?
I don't think that quick thinking, that quick ability, is what makes him a better quarterback.
Dude, there's a reason why there's a reason why you have to be in college to go to the NFL. Well, not necessarily to play at a high level. Most of the players come from college. They gotta be smart. They gotta play their things. They gotta know what they're doing. You can't have a dummy out there in the field making dumb decisions. Maybe for some positions it might work, but not for quarterback.
No,
if you have raw strength, in alignment, you need to think. Well, yeah, pretty much the quarterback can make a split decision that will affect the whole game. He can throw the pick at the wrong time. He can throw the right pass at the right time. Most of the weight goes from the quarterback, but it's not.
You can have someone that is completely clueless in math. You can have someone that's completely clueless in math, but he steps on that football field and he's a football genius.
Sure. Patrick Mahomes
that exists.
Patrick Mahomes can be the dumbest
motherfucker
math student ever, but he has the raw ability. But Matt Stafford, that actually helps him out. It's not for everybody, but it's an advantage that he has. Whether his O-line can cover him, whether his receivers can get open, whether he can throw the right pass, throw far enough, that's other attributes that he has or he doesn't have. But the mental ability to be able to do the decisions, study better, be smarter about what he sees, that helps him as a player.
I don't know about that because if not, he'd be a better quarterback than what he really is.
He is a great quarterback. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He was in the MVP race last year.
He was top 5.
Okay, Derek Carr has been in MVP race, and yet everyone trashes him.
That year. But Matthew Stafford's had several years without Calvin Johnson, several years with trash receivers, and he's still putting up numbers.
Trash receivers?
I'll put it to you this way. Why don't we hear anything about and see, here's a double standard with players too, like Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz and Matthew Stafford are the same quarterback. They both have they're both injury prone, but you hear more about Wentz than Stafford is. You know, Stafford isn't the greatest quarterback of all time, but he's pretty up there. And his math skills, again, it's an example of his quick thinking. It's an example of him being able to do that, being able to take in information and expout some sort of great play into a short amount of time. But I still said they were going to be third. But I think we've grown in the last week, gentlemen, all three of us. Thank you, Fabian, for joining us on the show. I'll contact you, I'll DM you, see if we can get a release for this. Thank you. So there's that. So that was fun. It's good knowing that we can do that when it works. But yeah,
maybe with better internet, it'd be better.
Yeah, definitely. Anyway, I think we had a good episode today because there was a lot actually to talk about. But
yeah,
hopefully,
like the whole cutting off thing.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting closer. Sports is on the horizon. I can smell it. I can see it. I can feel it.
Yes, sir, man. Hopefully.
So hopefully we can solidify some sort of guest interview coming on up with John Barbon. Talk about soccer in Spanish.
That'd be crazy.
Check out Spotify. Follow us on Two Balls and a Mic, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Spotify. If you want to just listen, we have interviews with Jimmy Conrad, Eric Avila right now.
Share, and subscribe, guys.
Absolutely. Appreciate it.
All right. Have a good day, everyone.